Hello friends, and long time no see, because I've been very busy, and if you watch my other channel, I'm more active on that one. It's Food Fiend, about food in Hawaii, but back to gardening. I have not stopped or anything. I haven't grown anything new for a while, because I was traveling and such during the summer, and usually it's very hot, but I had most of my plants that I usually have shown. Some had died due to blight. Over here, I live in a mountainous region. It literally rains every day, and it's weird because you go down the hill and it's sunny. So lots of moisture, so problems with mildew and blight and stuff like that. But I'm going to flip the camera around and show you what I'm growing right now as the weather gets cooler. Here I tried a Taiwan long bean. This is from Baker's Creek. I do love long beans or yard beans. Some people call them cowpeas. These are super long, supposedly, because they're from Taiwan, so they can go over a foot or a yard if you let them. But I heard if you pick them when they're the most tender, here's one. Ooh, I didn't even notice that. Came out already. So these ones, they take a long time to start here in Hawaii anyway. I don't know about other regions. But it sprouted up as seed within maybe 3 days, really quick, but it took a while to get bigger. But once it gets bigger and it flowers, it just keeps going. So here you see more beans, and I was fooling around with one of the flowers. So this flower becomes a bean, and they're all over, you see? So I might pick them while they're tender, so they're nice and sweet, and I like to what do you call it? Saute them in a little bit of butter or olive oil and garlic and salt, and really simple with pepper. So that's doing well. I have, like I said, a small yard, so I just put a tomato cage here. I don't have room to build a nice big trellis, but it's doing fine, and it's just wrapping around and around. And supposedly if you live in like the South or Texas where it's super hot, they do very well in the heat. So so far here it's not too hot. It's mild, but it's very wet, so it hasn't died of any disease from moisture, so it's pretty prolific and hardy. This eggplant I keep showing, it's still here. It's been almost 2.5 years. Makes some great eggplant. I just picked one. This is the choyu, I think, choryu. It's a Japanese eggplant that's green, but doesn't taste any different. Here and there, I don't know if it's gonna work because it's been too wet here. I just have a couple of pots of flowers, so hopefully the bees come. I've said in other videos, we don't really have much bees here. I don't know why, but I put some bee balm in there and some zinnias. It's starting to rain again, so hopefully I don't get drenched. This is a puma pepper. It's got beautiful purple leaves, and I don't know if I can find a pepper. Here's a pepper. Nice and purple and dark, like a midnight purple, and pretty spicy. But if you like serranos or stuff like that, or habaneros, they're around that kind of heat. There's another one. And over here I had a Phoenix tomato from Seeds and Such. I've been ordering from them a lot. Usually I've been going after heirlooms, but they have a lot of hybrids, and you know what? They're not so bad. Hybrids, they breed them for certain diseases, and it did well. Then it died of blight. So I'm starting some Tanopa. I'm not sure if you can see the little seedlings. I put 2 in there, so there's 2. I'll probably weed out the weakest one that doesn't grow as strong later. This one I had to just cut back right here. I just chopped it off yesterday, but it was all over here. I definitely have to mow my lawn. The rain just keeps coming and I have no chance to mow it, and keeps making the grass grow crazy here. But these are habaneros. They just keep growing and growing, and the branch I chopped off had a bunch of green ones, but I don't need that many because look at that, there's just so many. They just keep coming. I made like jars of hot sauce and I just can't keep up with it, so lots of habaneros. But with peppers here, lots of white flies. So I sprayed it yesterday with some neem oil. And here's some serrano. That plant's still going. This one's another one from Seeds and Such. Look at my big, huge rosemary bush. But this one I really like. It's just sweet peppers, I believe. They grow a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to let it go. But they're not hot at all. It's like a sweeter bell pepper. And it's just been growing a lot of peppers. And it's also a hybrid to resist disease, and it just keeps growing in this little tiny pot here. This one I have not had much success. I don't know if you can hear the rain, it's just coming down again. But this is a soybean plant, and I put a whole bunch here, but this is the only one that sprouted, and this is my second try. Not doing too well, but soybean like edamame. Hopefully it keeps growing, but it's kind of not growing too great. It's still small, and it's been like 2 weeks, and it just won't grow any taller. So we'll see how that goes, and nothing else sprouted. Here's my watermelon plant in one of my self-watering containers I showed. In this one, for about maybe a year and a half, I had my Korean hot peppers in here that I showed when I first planted it. And it grew really well, and we had so many peppers I didn't know what to do with that either. But when I went on vacation in Boston, I kind of neglected it, and it kind of just died from the whiteflies. But the self-watering bucket's still going. I see the water is always moist when it is a hot day. We've got some blossoms. I haven't had good luck with watermelon here. Either the landscapers would weed whack them when I put them outside, so I kept it inside this time. And when I hand pollinated it, it just would not take. But let's try this. This is going to be a golden midget. So it's a mini watermelon that's yellow. Here is some seed that was free from Baker's Creek. It's a daikon. It's a round, small, mini turnip. Japanese. So it's been growing great, and hopefully it bulbs well. I'm trying out more carrots in the same bucket. I showed in the last video that they came out really great and very long. This time I got more free seed from Baker's Creek, and it's a Kolsch, I believe, carrot. It's European. It's kind of stubby, so it's not too long. And I also mixed some purple carrots in there, so hopefully they grow and the slugs don't get at it. And finally, here is a Cherokee Purple. Second time trying to grow this. I didn't film it, but I had one that died of blight, but it gave a couple of tomatoes, and it was really great. As people know that have tried them, they are great tomatoes, great heirloom tomatoes. Here are some of the contender beans I've showed a long time ago. We just harvested a bunch, and I had some for dinner yesterday. But here's a bean that I didn't pick that's a little bit not mature, but lots of flowers, and it just keeps going and going. Definitely suggest getting this. This does not vine, it's just a bush, but definitely great sweet beans. And I just got this off Amazon, like a cheap bean. You can get it at Home Depot. They're called contender beans. This is a Rosita eggplant. Looks like it's doing well. It just keeps growing and growing, but I have a problem where when I try to pollinate the flowers, I notice there's no powder in it. It's always dry. Here's one. And every time I try to pollinate it, it never takes, and all the flowers die. So I'm thinking of trashing it, because I don't know what to do. It's healthy, but for some reason it doesn't make enough pollen to self-pollinate itself. This one's going to be interesting. This is a Korean long tomato. Almost looks like a Roma tomato or an Amish paste tomato. So I'm interested in seeing that come to fruition and tasting it. It's a plum tomato, so I wasn't aware Koreans had tomatoes that were the plum kind, but we'll try it and maybe it'll make some nice pasta sauce. This one's a King Jupiter. It's got a couple of flowers coming through, but we had a couple of peppers. This is a bell pepper. Again, small pots, but still had 2 bell peppers from here. So it's still growing. Just started that. And this one's a chocolate bell pepper, and got a bunch of flowers there. So hopefully that takes, and had a bunch of peppers from here as well. This plant has been here for a while. Again, I neglected it when I went on a trip in summer, so just kind of gave it some life because I didn't spray neem oil to keep the white flies away. But over here, it's not so bad. Not as much white flies, so the spray has been working. I'm starting a bunch of seeds. I have had a really hard time with the habanada, which is a habanero with no spice, but has that sweet, smoky flavor, and the Scotch bonnet. I went through a whole bag of seeds from Baker's Creek, and it didn't take here. So there's something wrong with maybe too much moisture where I live. But I bought 2 more packs, and we're trying again. But out of all of them, again, they did not sprout up. I've got an Alibaba watermelon here. Trying that. A Tanopa tomato. Another one. A Jimmy Nardillo pepper, which is a sweeter pepper. And a fish pepper. Over here, I forgot which peppers I threw in here, but I threw a whole bunch just to get them started. And here's another one. So I don't know if they're fish peppers or the Jimmy Nardillo. And over here, I have a acorn squash that still never popped up. So hopefully they take. Alright, hopefully the lens doesn't get too blurry, because it was. I had to clean it, but it is super rainy here. I'm totally wet. So that is the update so far, and I'll update you on the little baby plants later on, hopefully, if they grow healthy, and show you any fruit or vegetables that come out of them, and hopefully it works out. So thanks for watching. I know you guys wanted an update, but I've been so busy, but that's pretty much what's in my garden right now.